puts the Cowboys in front for the first time in this game, 8 points to 6, and we've had almost a half of football here in Townsville tonight. Matthew earlier spoke about needing to control the tempo against this attacking machine the North Queensland Cowboys have. They've done a pretty good job of that. Some offloads in the middle of the park have really hurt the Raiders in the last 5 or so minutes here, and they'll be keen to be able to lock up the likes of Tronk and also Carl Webb. We'll be looking for a breather pretty shortly, you'd think. Here is Fayumu now as it goes to Gavin Cooper.
And they can scramble well, but it's at the back end of the game where it really tells. Especially in these type of conditions, the Raiders aren't used to them. They need to get their fair share of possession and get it in reasonable field position.
Now Fayumu getting back to his feet has lost it here.
Well, this will help.
And he'll give the Raiders possession really at this end of the field for the first time in the game. They haven't been anywhere near the North Queensland Cowboys 20-metre line, and we've had 20 minutes now exactly of football. It will give them their first real chance, apart from the try they scored from the other end of the field, to go on the attack.
And we'll see how good the intensity is in the Cowboys' defensive line. You mentioned the fact this is the Raiders' first real opportunity. They've had all the ball, they've had everything going their way, but just let's see them get off their line, get the numbers in the tackle. We'll get a fair indication in this set of 6.
Here's Withers. Second man ball here for Adam Mogg, who runs to the sideline. Got a nice pass away from Frawley. He's a handful, but Gavin Cooper was up to the task of taking him to ground in a one-on-one tackle just outside the Cowboys' 10. Here's Hodgson running at Cooper again, backing up, making another very effective tackle. Wolford to Withers in front of the post. Cut out ball, second man play for Shafovsky. Basketball pass over the top for Phil Graham, who had visions of the corner post, I'm sure. But as they slid across, he changed the angle and Norton was able to get to him. Here's Carney taking them on. Cut down by Shane Tronk. Wolford on the last play goes to Withers. Second man ball again, Shafovsky. A well-placed grubber. Brendan Bowen has some work to do, but they'll take him back into the end goal area. Good work by the Raiders, and they'll get 6 more tackles from a goal line dropout.
Well, Jonathan Thurston's asking the referee and saying and pleading with him that the tackle was completed in the field of play. Let's have a look at it. He goes to ground. The ball touches the ground. Do they drag him back in? Well, or do you think the momentum was there? I think they still had momentum.
I think you're right. If that was going to be a penalty after what we've seen in recent times, you could say there has been a big about-face as far as the officials are concerned. What about Leroy Glass? Coming back at them and running over the top there of Mitchell Sargent on the carry. Here's Wolford giving it on the right-hand side. He's got Terry Martin coming with him, and they're back to just 12 metres away from the Cowboys line. Here's Hodgson straightening on his run. Stop there, and another good tackle, this time by Fayumu, and also Aaron Payne is out there. Withers at the post, met by Gavin Cooper, who was up around the shoulders and making the tackle. He's been able to hit and stick tonight. Gavin Cooper in defence. Here's a good ball for Mogg, who went close to scoring. Norton makes another good tackle on that side of the field. Now Graham, not a good pass for Carney, who did well. It keeps coming to David Howe. A little chip to the corner. This time Bowen is able to handle the kick much more easily than the previous grubber by Shafovsky. And the Cowboys have hung on for back-to-back sets.
Yeah, good scramble defence there by the Cowboys. The Raiders look threatening. Inside pass over the left-hand side of the field to Adam Mogg. The cover was coming from inside out. And that's what you expect from a team that prides themselves on good defence.
Matty Singh coming from that right-hand side to help the forwards out. Now Bowen doing likewise with a carry from dummy half as Payne goes to Mitchell Sargent. Runs it Croker. And also Terry Martin. They'll play it here on the last. Bowen at first receiver will do the kicking from inside the 40. He might have been thinking about a 40-20. Frawley was up in the line on the right-hand side for the Raiders, and Shafovsky, the fullback, was back there playing on that right-hand edge, and so Bowen took the option of finding the grass down the middle of the park. And now Alan Tongue, a good run out of dummy half.
Well, it's something that the Raiders need to be aware of. Matthew Bowen's kicked 3 40-20s already this season, leads the way in that department, and they've got some good kickers. Thurston can strike the ball well. Aaron Payne out of dummy half doesn't do a lot of kicking, but he's got a nice flat kicking game. and also a nice attacking little kicking game, little grubber.
Wolford from dummy half. Here's Terry Martin back on the angle, looking to split the gap in between the A defenders. He's opened up a bit of room for them on the left-hand side as a result, and that's where they go to Withers, who had some pressure there from Southern. Shafovsky, as they, on the last, put it through the hands. Now Graham, a chip over the top. He's a freak! An absolute great bounce for him, and now David Howe for the line will get there. Phil Graham scores one and sets up another one, and the Raiders are back in front.
And there's Phil Graham chipping over the top, getting a great bounce. Look at the hands. Cuts back on the inside. He's aware he needs to get rid of the football. Howe in support. And they score their second try of the night. This is great stuff by Canberra. Left foot kick over the top. He shows more urgency to get on the football. He gets the football, passes it back, and there Howe fends off Travis Norton and goes over and scores near the sticks.
They've had few opportunities at this end of the field, but they've done well. A repeat set on a previous foray inside the Cowboys 20. Next time around they get a try, Greg.
Yeah, what a piece of brilliance by Phil Graham, but aren't the second man plays by the Raiders causing the Cowboys plenty of problems? Look at that little chip over the top. Great hands to regather it and somehow get it back into David Howe to score the try. They've messed Phil Graham. It's only his fifth game. He's already scored his fifth try in 5 games. Lays that one up for David Howe, but it's a Canberra second man plays. Laurie, you're right. If they hang on to the ball, they're making easy meters, and when they're not splitting the line, they're getting quick play. The ball's on the back of it.
He'll play in midfield to Wolford, who goes back to the other side of the play the ball and finds Adam Mogg. Jonathan Thurston was there, slapping at the ball as David Howe came up with it, trying to force a turnover. Jason Williams back out there after a pretty short stint to begin this game. It was only 11 or 12 minutes at best before he was replaced by Alan Tongue, and here is Tongue himself back up towards the halfway line. On the last again for Canberra, we'll see what happens this time with their kick, and it's Simon Wolford who gets one away. It's a one hopper for Matt Bowen. He's got Brendan Bowen with him, and Matt Bowen almost went through him. There still might be trouble here. He comes to Frawley, who almost dragged him across the touchline, but what a threat he is when you come up with anything less than your best chase team. Here's Jensen, met at the Canberra 40-metre line. They're under pressure once again. 4 minutes left in this first half as Payne goes to Matthew Scott. A ball for Travis Norton with not much happening there for the Cowboys captain. Midfield once again, he plays it here for Matt Bowen, who just puts his body on the line and asks the question there of Croker and also Williams, but they were up to it. Here's Payne again, dragging defenders with him. Putting a ball back on the inside for Rod Jensen. 10 away from the Canberra line. Last play, Payne goes to Bowen. Second man playing for Thurston. Grubbering into the end goal. How got to him and lost it? He tried to pick it up and go, and there was a motion. And Justin Smith and Jonathan Thurston were there in his face. This angle here, I think, might give us our best clue. We've seen some benefit of the doubt in recent times, but I think on that one there, well, I think you would have to say what we've seen there, no try. There was some concern, of course, that Travis Norton was offside, but he was in front of the kicker but didn't go inside the 10. No try. Smith wasn't able to control the ball as he put it down. To the liking of the video referee, a close call for the Raiders. The Cowboys will still get 6 more tackles off the back of the goal line dropout for the initial mistake by David Howe.
And the best thing about that for Canberra was that they've had plenty of time to set themselves and to think about this next 3 minutes coming up before half-time. Maximum they'll have to defend 2 sets in a row. They've just got to get their head around it. It'll be a bonus for them if they go in at half-time.
Here are the Cowboys, a 7-3 record up against the Raiders, who are 4 wins from 10 games so far this season. At the moment, it's the underdog on top as Justin Smith, who went so close a moment ago, taking it to the line here. Here's Aaron Payne out of dummy half. Simon Wolford picking him off from mark, and now Jensen. Another rapid-fire play the ball, but they've hung on through Carney and also Croker. Last play again. They come to the short side. Adam Mogg was up off the line quickly. The referee said that was okay. The locals hate it. But the Raiders again standing tall on their own try line.
I'll tell you what, that was a smart bit of play by Adam Mock. He knew where the pass was going, and he got himself off the line when the ball was played and came up with a terrific bit of work.
Here it is once more. Payne firing it. Mock was at close hand and read it very well. The referee was happy that he didn't jump the gun. As Williams plays as they go to the left-hand side. A lovely ball for Graham. Equally good hands by David Howe. He's down the left-hand touchline. He's got some points. And Marshall Chalk was there. The pass from Howe may not have been a great one, though, and Chalk put it down. What a let-off.
I'll tell you what, put that down to Travis Norton. Travis Norton had two blokes covered. He kept chasing, and in the end, the Raiders players, they fought over the football. It was Carney, and it was Chalk. And Chalk, he needed to take that.
The pass was just down in front of him. Had he taken it, he strolls across the line to make it at least an 8-point lead for the Raiders going to the break. Here's Payne now. We go to the final minute of this first half, and the Cowboys looking to close this gap from long range. They've got 2 tackles left in this set of 6. Here's Sargent going to Jonathan Thurston, who's got players on his outside. Matt Bowen on the inside. What a good tackle, though, made by Jason Williams.
Well, Jason Williams, that was a great effort. Matt Bowen was coming through, and he just shut the gate on him completely. Otherwise, that would have been a try to the Cowboys. But I think that's what Matt Elliott was thinking. Start him at the game, give him a 10-15 minute period up against big forwards, bring him off, and then give him a 7-minute spurt just before half-time. Then he can have a 10-minute rest at half-time, and then let him start again in the second half. I think he believes that's the best way to get value out of him. He's an impact player.
Here's Shafovsky, rubbering in behind the line. Could have taken the safe route and put the ball out of play with just seconds remaining, but he put a kick in for his own team. The Cowboys get one last play here. Matty Bowen, a chip over the top. He ran into some Raiders defence, and then Frawley will happily take it across the touchline and head back to the sheds for a drink. A rapid-fire ending to the first 40 minutes, but the Raiders have scored 2 tries to 1 and lead the Cowboys 12-8 at the break. The kick-off, which will bounce down to Justin Smith, and it's Mitchell Sargent who brings it back to get the second half back in motion. We'll see if the Cowboys' motion, which was dynamic at times, but the Raiders' defence was hanging on by a fingernail. They kept making last-ditch tackles on the likes of Thurston and also Matt Bowen, who threatened to go a long way just before the break to score a try. They'll need to be on their mettle here, the Raiders' defence, to begin this second half. Here's Carl Webb playing it for Payne. He goes to Thurston with Paul Bowman on this right-hand side of the field. A change defensively, you would imagine, for the Cowboys. Ashley Graham up against Phil Graham, and also David Howe had his hands full in that first half, and Graham Murray making a change, you would think, for defensive reasons, with Paul Bowman playing on the right-hand side, not the left-hand side, to start the second half. Here's David Howe now, met by Mitchell Sargent and dragged back to his own 10 as we go downstairs to Greg Alexander.
Yeah, no doubt he's made that change for that reason. You're right, Paul Bowman on the right side. Gavin Cooper is on the left side because Ashley Cooper is out of the match. He's suffering concussion. Ashley Graham and Troy Thompson for the Raiders, unlikely to be back, but they're going to give him right up until full time.
So there you go, Ashley Graham at the moment out of the game with a concussion. Must have been suffered just before half-time, perhaps in that raid down the left-hand side, which Marshall Chalk almost finished off. And Troy Thompson, who left the field very early in the game for the Raiders, as we've just heard, unlikely to come back. Here's Brendan Bowen, picked off in a good tackle by Lincoln Withers, trailing down the middle of the park, and he stopped him inside his own 20, and here he is, cutting down Matt Singh as he goes back-to-back. Thurston now, from dummy half, we gave it back to Singh. He wasn't ready for it. He showed good hands to hang on to it. Norton goes to Mitchell Sargent. He's stopped there by Croker and also Carney. 35 out from his own line when he plays, and goes to Rod Jensen, who's met in a strong tackle. Adam Moult picking him up and dumping him on the flat of his back as the kick from Thurston will pick out Clinton Schifofsky, who takes it at his own 20 on the full, and he brings it all the way back to beyond the 40-metre line. A good return by the fullback.
That's a very good set of six by Canberra on that occasion as far as their defence was concerned. They worked really hard from marker. They picked the Cowboys players up really quickly. They chewed into the tackle count. Then they were able to establish good field position, put Thurston under a bit of pressure. The kick was taken by Clinton Schifofsky, and all of a sudden the Raiders are back in the zone to attack.
There's a problem here for Brenton Bowen, who came from the field after that previous kick return. He might have a cut to the head. We'll hear more about him in a moment as Martin gets the ball away to Withers. Norton wasn't able to stop him, but he took the speed off him, and then Webb finished off the tackle on the halfback. They'll play it just inside the 20. They'd love a repeat set here as Carney's kick is plucked out of the air by Matt Bowen. But again, they regather defensively, the Raiders, to make the tackle on the fullback, who any time he gets one on the full can go the length of the field. Here is Cooper now.
Well, he brings the crowd into it. He brings the crowd into it, doesn't he, Matty Bowen? When he gets the ball, the excitement levels go up, and the Raiders give away a penalty. Gavin Cooper being slowed down in the play of the ball. That's a big penalty for the Cowboys. Need to start this second half very positively.
Here's Matthew Scott taking it across the halfway line. The penalty count running 5-1 in favour of the Cowboys. Here's Payne. He's got Carl Webb coming with him. Another of those no-look off-the-hip passes there from Aaron Payne. 35 metres away. Thurston on this right-hand side goes in behind Travis Norton, but they kept coming across in the middle there. It was Marshall Chalk who made a very good tackle. Mitchell Sargent now. He's just 10 metres out, 20 metres out. On the last play, or the second last play, is Thurston. Goes to Bowman, but Withers is up in his face and makes the tackle. Now it's the last. Norton goes to Thurston. Matt Bowen. Good room to move before he puts a grubber in. Schifofsky coming across. Made a good take and then picks up more metres again. Hasn't he made a career out of doing exactly that?
Good play by the fullback. They were coming through, and Matty Bowen, the awareness to put it between defenders, try to force the ball in the in goal, but Schifofsky was coming across equal to the challenge.
Here's Wolford to Jason Williams, who was out there to win the first half and you could imagine playing maybe 10 or 12 minutes in to begin the second half and then going back to the bench once again. On the last here, it's Terry Martin playing it as Carney puts a kick in. This one away from Matt Bowen, one of their better ones tonight as far as getting it away from one of the back three of the Cowboys on that occasion.
Got to make sure that they can press in the middle, slow the play the ball down, peel off great, adjust the numbers to where the threat's coming.
Jensen playing it as Sargent goes across the Cowboys 20-metre line. Hit there by Marshall Chalk, who's been defending in the middle of the park for the Raiders. Webb now bouncing into tacklers. Willis was a speed hunt for him, and then Schifofsky was also left in his way because he takes it down to within 40 metres of the Raiders line. A real Carl Webb rampaging style run. Playing to play. Here's Thurston, that first receiver as the crowd find their voice. Good tackle by Wolford. Now Bowen. Back on the inside here for Matthew Scott. It takes it down towards the 20-metre line. This will be the last again for the Cowboys. Schifofsky on red alert as Payne puts the grubber in this time. He wanted to sit down, but it's too big. Jensen was chasing through, but it was too much weight on it. And again, the Raiders up against their own line.
Webb's running the football. Very rarely does he offload before the line, so he can afford to jam numbers in on him. Don't let him get one-on-one with a smaller player.
Here's Jason Kroger being set upon by Steve Southern. Could have got a penalty there. Nudged back to the ground. Perhaps the referee thought he was trying to milk one, but Jason may disagree. Martin playing it for Wolford. Withers from inside the 40, looking for a 40-20. It's got a chance. It might have crossed the line half a metre on the Raiders' side of the 20-metre line. In fact, that's where the touch judges put up the flag, and Gavin Badger says it will be a North Queensland feed. Good kick early in the count by Withers.
Yeah, good kick by Lincoln Withers. Not much between a good kick and a great kick, is there? This would have turned out to be, just what the Raiders were looking for early in the second half. There's not much in that, but you can't tell. You can't tell.
You could make a case for putting a corner post on the 20-metre line, couldn't you? To help the officials on occasion, but I'm pretty confident they got that one 100% right.
100%?
Not 98, 100.
You've got good eyesight.
Here's Southern. A flat pass to Gavin Cooper, well taken by the utility. He'll play it 35 metres out. The Raiders scrambling in defence. Once again, here's Thurston going to the line. Stopped by Marshall Chalk, who's made plenty of big tackles so far. Martin was there also. Now Payne, using them as a shepherd. Here's Sargent running onto it. He's stopped by Croker and also Carney. Leroy Lars is involved once again also. Last play, Bowen, grubbering. More questions to be asked here of Shafovsky and his wingers as Craig Frawley, who comes up with it. Stopped by Travis Norton just in the field of play. Shafovsky now in danger of being run back into the in goal there. Luckily, he got away from Travis Norton.
They've up the tempo here, the Cowboys, both with the football and without. Here they come. Oh, they've given away a silly penalty. Too keen.
And it might have been out wide as well. Seeing it Bowman with the players.
The whole short side. It's got to break this. Mate, I'm not going to debate this 10-metre penalty.
They are coach killers. You can see Bowman and Matthew Scott being inside the tent. And Bowen, after getting running repairs, puts the headgear on. He's back, ready to get back out there.
Here is Chalk playing it for Wolford. He goes to Leroy Lars, sends away from Southern, and then Smith on an angled run. He took some stopping once again. He's been good tonight, Leroy Lars. Here's Wolford going to Croker on the outside. He had Mock there in support. Luckily, he was able to stay in the field of play. They're 25 metres out. Wolford, a bit of distributing. Here's Tom Leroy Lars again.
He's big, isn't he?
He takes a look at it, still going. He's taking Southern and Scott towards the line. That's going to be a penalty. Held was called, and they took him to the ground. And you would think with a 4-point lead here, they'll take the chance of making it 6.
It's a pretty big atmosphere. It's pretty loud, capacity crowd there. I don't think they can hear you for 20 metres away, that's all. I understand what you're saying, mate, but they have to hear me. I'm calling the same calls all day. They've heard other calls during the day. If they don't hear this one, that's not my problem, mate. I'm making the calls. Mate, can you try me a little bit louder? I'll try my best, mate. Okay.
He called held, he had no choice.
It is hard. It is hard with an atmosphere when it's very loud, the players. But you can see there the tackle looked as though it's complete, and Scott just goes on with it. And what they're trying to do is basically con the referee for a few more extra seconds.
Chance to make it a converted try, the difference here in favour of the Canberra Raiders. They've done well to hang on the opening minutes, and now they can extend their lead through their fullback and captain, who does exactly that. He makes it 14 points to wait. Here's Thurston giving it to Matthew Scott. He'll take it down towards the Raiders 20. Stopped there only just by Alan Tum. 2 more tackles in this set. Here's Thurston going to the line, slipping it back on the inside to Jensen. Last play this time. Payne will feed it to Thurston. They are spread wide to the right. Here's Bowen grubbering. Shafovsky will carry it across the dead ball line. He didn't have to play at it. And they bring it back out to their own 20. Still, they just won't yield the Raiders.
And there you see the ankle tap by Frawley.
There might have been the slightest of knock-ons there from Brendan Bowen as well. He got up to play on as the Cowboys did, going deep on the attack once more. There have been some great try-saving efforts various players in this Raiders side tonight. Jason Williams made an important one just before half-time. Todd Carney also earlier in the first half, and we saw Jason Williams back on his feet, about to come back into the game.
Yeah, he's an impact player, Jason Williams. They'll be looking for a 10-minute spurt out of him as Wolford goes out of dummy half. But they haven't been able to build pressure at the end of their sets. There's always been a Raiders player there to clear the ball, and the ball's been rolling dead. Here's a nice pass on to Alan Tongue.
Who gets an ankle tap himself, this time from Matthew Scott. Otherwise it was Tongue and Bowen with a 12-point lead on the line. Here's Wolford, a chip into the in-goal area. It sits up for Brendan Bowen. Chase was a staggered one from the Raiders, but Todd Carney came in to make a good tackle. The Cowboys working it away from their own end through Aaron Payne, who runs to the man who made the little chip, Simon Wolford. Here's Cooper, going to Steve Southern, who spent some time playing in the Queensland Cup for the North Queensland Young Guns not that long ago, but he's been back in first grade for the last month or so, doing his usual job of coming up with some big hits and picking up meters as well. Shane Tronk has had a long break for the Cowboys, but he's back out there now. Graham Murray going back to his bench also, as Thurston kicks from inside the 40, down the middle of the park. It's Foley who will get back there. He's got Tchaikovsky with him. He looks up and sees both Thurston and Smith in front of him, and he tried to break the tackle of Thurston, but Smith was there to stop him. 20 out from the Raiders line. It's Howe now.
This is where the Raiders need their outside backs to get heavily involved. Their forwards are walking back. There's plenty of hands on hips. Marshall Chalk, he's a good player. Stars the fullback playing in the back row tonight. He's got good leg speed and someone who can worry the Cowboys through the middle.
Howe will play it at the halfway line. Here's Jason Williams running at them, and he stopped the Cowboys' defensive line cold. Aaron Payne was put back on his heels as he set himself for the tackle, and Williams still going, carries 3 of them. Another 5 or so metres as Wolford goes back to Carney. A chip over the top, but Thurston is there. He read it well. He saw Carney set himself for the kick and just floated back behind the defensive line. Now Brendan Bowen runs away from dummy half. There could have almost been a penalty there for a sleeper play against the Cowboys.
I think that's what the crowd are telling the referee. But Canberra, they need to be good. I thought Carney may have looked to found touch at the end of that set of 6. But instead he elected to go the short kick. And Thurston was up to the mark. Here comes Payne out of dummy half.
Getting the ball away to Matt Bowen. Goes to Gavin Cooper, who runs the mod. Brendan Bowen back on the inside. Good ball, Thurston. From the corner. Foley coming across. Can't get there in time. And Thurston gives the Cowboys a chance to level the game. They want to check it, but it looks as though Thurston has won the race to the in-goal area.
Yeah, that's a try. Thurston puts it down. And the Cowboys are back in the contest. There's no doubt about this. Tim Mandel will award it.
Confirmation of the try. The Cowboys wide open.
Jonathan Thurston kicked some great goals in Origin 1 for Queensland from the sideline. And he gets another great opportunity to showcase his skills and equal this ball game up.
Thurston starts it out wide and hooks back. It had the legs as well. And suddenly, with 16 minutes remaining, it's 14-14, Gregory.
We've got an exciting 16.5 minutes left. There's still plenty of football to be played here as we see Gavin Cooper. Look, Adam Mogg has been fantastic in defence, but he needed to wrap the ball up there. Jonathan Thurston got himself in the right position. And this is, well, it's Wednesday night all over again. Jonathan Thurston banging one over from the sideline. They have looked more dangerous, the Cowboys, haven't they? The Canberra Raiders got away with a poor kicking game in the first half. It has been a bit better in the second half, but the chip kick from Todd Carney wasn't the right play.
It's the Broncos and the Bulldogs next. They'll have to do well to match this tonight. Here's Carl Webb. Has picked up some big meters for the home side this evening, but still, they aren't in front. It's 14 all. The no-look pass goes to the ground. They're just about out on their feet, both sides here. Travis Norton, just outside the 40. 2 tackles left in this set. Thurston, a delayed pass, a great ball for Smith, who had Singh on his outside, and the ball went forward. The Raiders hang on yet again. The Cowboys just can't find the right man at the right moment to get the job done here.
Well, 16 seconds to go. He's called time off. And the Raiders, they should hang on here in normal time. And we will go into extra time with the Cowboys having all the momentum. They just can't get the job done. Tom Leroy last, once again, another strong carry. By the way, who's he eligible for?
Well, I think he's a Queenslander, but he grew up in Tweed Heads. It might be a Greg Inglis situation for Origin representation, perhaps for Leroy Lars. We won't worry about it at the moment, though. Full time, in regular time, 14 all. In other games that the Raiders have participated in golden point time, they beat the Warriors in round 20 of 2004. They also won that through, guess what? A Clinton Shafosky field goal, while the Cowboys have been in 4 golden point games. Their record is 2 wins, 1 loss and a draw. There's a call. We go to golden point time. Live on Fox Sports. I'm sure you're lapping this up at home wherever you're watching. The Raiders will bring it away from their own end. Terry Martin playing it as Howe. Tries to wake it up towards the 20. Stopped there by Webb and also Fayumu. Here is Leroy Lars beating defenders, taking them with him. Eventually it's Cooper, who's been super tonight for the Cowboys. Playing in the back row at times and out wide also at others. He's had a fantastic game. Here's Croker, back up to the halfway line, gets away from Norton's tackle after beating Jensen. Last play here in this set for Canberra. Carney with the kick. Will bounce down towards Matt Bowen, who picks it up at his own 10. They get their chance. Can they make enough metres here in the early tackles to put themselves in field goal position?
Well, this is where the discipline comes into play also. You don't want to be turning the ball over, but you also got to make sure, as a defending team, you don't give away penalties, especially late in the tackle count. Both teams are out on their feet, but you've got to push through it. This is when you see what players are mentally strong as Payne makes an incisive run.
That's 4 tackles. He'll play it. Smith feeds it to Thurston. Here's Jensen. He gives it back to Carl Webb. He runs at Leroy Lars and also Alan Tung. You would imagine they're too far out on this occasion. They'll kick for some field position and try and make the Raiders make an error. Thurston kicking for the sideline. Took the odds to it. Bit off plenty of angle.
This is the second set of 6 in extra time, and all of them have come from this position. You can break a team if you apply that much pressure.
It was 2 tries apiece in regular time. Alan Tung doing well there on a pass which wasn't great to him. He'll play it just outside the 20. Here's Wolford bypassing Leroy Lars to give it to Clinton Shafosky. He just powers his way for a gain of about 8 or so. Now Wolford going back to the left-hand side. He's got Withers coming up. Terry Martin got an inside ball though, and they've done well to work it away from their own end again here, Canberra. Here's Carney going to Croker, looking for some metres. Shafosky floats to the right-hand side. Wolford will pick him out, but he'll kick away from Bowen. He put it through the post, but it was on the full.
Cowboys got to go 80 metres. Raiders need another good defensive set.
Here's Sargent. They go on the right-hand side through Paul Bowman. 1 minute 20 left in this first half of extra time. Here is Thurston going to Fayumu. There's a chance that they keep coming here. Fayumu carrying Mott with him is over the halfway line. That's the 3rd tackle right there. There might be a chance in this set. Here's Thurston going to Jensen, trying to spin in the tackle. Midfield. They can set it up here with a good dart from Payne perhaps, but this play the ball is a slow one. Jensen slumps back to his haunches now as it comes to Justin Smith, who comes back to in front of the post, and he'll play it from just outside the 30. Thurston to the right-hand side, Bowen to the left. It comes back to the fullback, who hits it. It's a long way to the right-hand side, though, and sits up for Clinton Schifofsky, who stumbles coming back out, and he's nabbed straight away by Matt Bowen. 30 seconds left. They can work it from dummy half, perhaps, or one out in the remaining seconds left. Off this half! Steve Sutton forces a mistake by David Howe. He could have been penalised, perhaps. They rush to set the scrum with 11 seconds remaining. Oh, there'll be some controversy here if they win it with a field goal.
The lock forward needs to get out and apply some pressure.
It goes to first and down the short side for Brenton Bowen, who gravels, and it's wrapped up there by Jason Croker. They had a chance on the right-hand side. One pass from the scrum to have a crack at it, but they went for a short side raid, and again, the Raiders hang on. We're going deep into extra time here tonight. We've had 85 minutes. Have we got 5 more coming up? Will they have to settle for a point each for the first draw in 2006? The pressure here on the Cowboys as we get back underway to not make a mistake at their own end. Here is Rod Jensen running to Wolford. He'll be forced to play it inside his own 20. Here's Payne to Thurston. Inside pass for Gavin Cooper. 3 tackles gone. They're only still just outside their 20. Steve Southern puts it under the left arm and says, I'll take 15 metres here, and got his side going forward. A good run, and now Sargent does likewise. He runs at Wolford. He stops him back near the halfway line. Last play, Thurston will kick it long. Floating back with the flight of the ball was Craig Frawley. He has in a pretty good field position here. Don't know what the Raiders have left in the tank, though, to pick up some big metres in these first 3 or 4 plays to put them back in field goal range.
Yeah, the forwards look out on their feet, but it's up to the outside backs to get in there and try and carry the ball forward. Well, both sets of forwards can be exposed for people with good footwork late at the line. The defensive lines aren't moving up fast. They're just worrying about holding and working together.
Leroy Lars playing it for Adam Mogg. He comes back midfield. That was the last play called by the referee. Now Todd Carney from a long way out, flushed it, and the Raiders beat the Cowboys. What a kick by the 5'8" who wins the game for Canberra. What about this from just inside the 40? You can't hit them any better. Matty Bowen was back there, and I can look up and watch the ball go over his head between the posts, and what a win for Canberra. But nothing could be as good as that from Todd